How well do you take care of yourself? Self-care comes in many forms, but ultimately the goal is the same: to care for yourself. It's easy to neglect self-care the way it's easier to be harsh and critical of yourself than it is to be kind and loving. Hello, my name is Latricia Renee, and welcome to Just Reading Into It. Today we'll be asking the cards for help exploring some ways we can take better care of ourselves. For our group designators this week, we have 3 cute teacups. For group 1, we have this pink teacup with hearts. For group 2, we have this blue teacup with bubbles. And for group 3, we have green tea with this nature design. Feel free to choose 1, 2, or all 3 groups. They may each speak to you in a different way. The timestamps are listed in the description of this video. If you need to pause and take a moment to choose, you may do so now. But without further ado, let's get into your readings. Hello, group 1. If you chose the pink teacup with the heart design, then this is your reading. As always, this is a general reading for the collective, so take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Today we're using the Pastel Journey Tarot. Here we are. I just thought that it fit with the theme. We also, of course, have oracle cards as well, which we will get into a little later. First up for your tarot cards, you have the 10 of Cups. This is a really happy card. It's all about fulfillment and satisfaction with life. As far as self-care advice goes, I feel like this card represents romanticizing your life. Find beauty and pleasure in even the smallest areas of your life. And remember that challenges are merely plot points in your story. This is an excellent card to get off the bat. Okay, your next card is the Princess or Page of Wands. Now this could be that initial spark of a new idea or passion. Maybe you'd like to pursue a new hobby, something that you've been wanting to try. Treat yourself to experimenting with something you might enjoy. Okay, next you have the Moon. Now this card is all about how fear is sort of an illusion, okay? And I'm 2 minds about this card. The first is we can take it very literally. Go and look at the moon, okay? Do something that fills your heart with wonder. That's what I associate the actual physical moon with, is that sense of wonder that you get from nature and beauty. Like I said, however, this card can represent fear, and not all self-care is just pleasure seeking, okay? It's about taking care of yourself, and that can mean many things. A lot of times it means putting in effort and work to make sure that you are in a good place mentally and physically. Maybe you need to face a fear. Now, it doesn't have to be just for the sake of it. Like, if you're afraid of spiders, I'm not saying go out and get yourself a spider. What I'm saying is, if there's something that you want to do, but you're too scared to try, maybe it's time to face that fear. All right, last tarot card you have is the 7 of Pentacles. Now this card is generally about taking a long-term view, okay? Commitments. What can you do to make your future self happy? Actually, I just recently did a video on that. If you'd like to check it out, I will have it linked in the description as well as in the little card that pops up. Sorry for the plug, I just thought it might help. But like I said, Seven of Wands is all about looking to the future and long-term commitments. Maybe a commitment to check in and care for yourself a little bit every day, or if that's a little too much for you right now, maybe every week. Put aside some time to really check in with yourself and make sure that you are doing what you need to for yourself. Okay, so for the tarot cards so far, we have Romanticize Your Life, which I think fits very well with the more literal interpretation of the moon, to go gaze at the moon and, you know, just fill your life with wonder. Okay? But then we have the Page of Wands saying maybe there's a new hobby that you want to start or a new project. Even if it's something that's scary, again, going back to the moon, face that fear and try to do it anyway. And then the Seven of Pentacles, just make time for yourself a little bit every day. Maybe it's making time for your new hobby. Okay? Now let's go ahead and get your oracle cards and see what they have to say. First up, we have your Mindful Message Oracle. And you have Expansive. Every day I am learning new things and expanding into my highest potential. Excellent. I think it fits well with your tarot, particularly the Moon and the Princess of Wands. Reading these three together, perhaps there is a new hobby or experience you'd like to explore, but the fear is holding you back, and this is your chance to grow. Okay? Maybe you want to learn about something new. Maybe it seems a little scary because it's complicated or it's a big topic. But believe in yourself that you can do it. Now is your chance to grow. Okay. Next we have two Prism Oracle cards. And your first one is fear. We were just talking about that. I really love it when the cards do that. It makes me feel like we're on the right track. I really don't want to repeat myself too much here, so I'll pretty much leave it as is. However, I would like to point out that fear also came up in one of the future self groups, that video I mentioned earlier. So there could be another connection there. Okay, your second Prism Oracle card is Comfort. All right, it's really interesting that these came out together. I remember reading something about facing fears in a way that's comfortable to you. It might have been in that same video. It might have been in a guidebook or something else, I'm not sure. But the idea is to face your fear in a way that still gives you some agency, or still gives you some sense of comfort. Like maybe you could do something with a friend or have your security blanket nearby. You know, whatever it is that gives you some sort of sense of comfort, bring that with you into while you're facing the fear. And what does make you feel comfortable in general? Is it a blanket and hot cocoa? Your favorite food? A movie you've watched 1,000 times? Because that's self-care too. All right, last oracle card that we have today is, your Sacred Traveler Oracle, and you have Miracles. Expect the wondrous to emerge. This reminds me a lot of the moon card that we were talking about. So we got a lot of synchronicities in this reading. Now, the guidebook also talks about releasing fears in this one. So I just want to point that out. But also finding pleasure even in life's littlest miracles. Be open to discovering wonders, and just like magic, more will appear. Okay, so I feel like that's a big central theme for you in this reading, besides facing your fear, is just focus on filling your life with more wonder. Give it more of that sense of magic from the moon, nature, maybe go on a nature walk. Romanticize your life. What about your life is magical? Even the mundane can be magical if you just look at it through the right lens. Okay, group 1, what do you think? I hope you enjoyed your video. If you did, I'd love it if you would give us a like. It only takes a second and I really appreciate it. If you haven't already, I definitely encourage you to check out the other groups as well. They may have other messages waiting for you. All right, until next time. Hello, group 2. If you chose this cute blue teacup with the bubble pattern, then this is your reading. As always, this is a general reading for the collective, so take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Today we're using the Pastel Journey Tarot. I just thought it fit with the theme. And we also have some oracle cards as well, which we will dive into after your tarot. But first up, for your tarot cards, you have the Ten of Wands. Okay, so this card says that you may be overburdened. Maybe you're taking on a little too much stress in your life. You need to reevaluate your priorities, okay? You may have to put some things down, so really think about what matters most to you. What's worth fighting for, okay? What's worth struggling for? Next up, you have the Four of Cups. Excellent. This goes right along with the Ten of Wands. I'm getting that you need to learn to say no. Okay, you've got a lot on your plate, perhaps, and it's just saying now may not be the time to take on too many new projects without putting something down first. And make sure you're not taking on too much of other people's responsibilities. Again, going back to reevaluating your priorities, make sure they're your priorities. You don't want to be getting bogged down for something that isn't even for you or for your enjoyment. For this card, there's also a little bit of don't be afraid of the boredom that comes along with putting down responsibilities. Okay? You could be the type that overworks yourself because you're afraid of that downtime. Okay? But don't be afraid of boredom. Don't be afraid of taking some time to just relax and have peace. If you are afraid of that, dig deep into it. Why is that? Okay? There could be something there that you need to explore. All right. Next up, we have the Seven of Swords. This card I generally associate with strategizing. Okay, again, this could be about reevaluating your priorities. Now, also, there's a little bit of concealing information with this card, and I'm wondering if maybe it's about how you don't owe anyone an explanation for not taking on more work for yourself. Okay, there's a saying that I love. It's no is a complete sentence. That's it. You don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to justify your actions to anyone else but you. So sometimes it's even better not to give an explanation. Maybe they wouldn't understand. Maybe they would twist your words in a way. The idea is that you need to find out what your boundaries are and stick to them. Okay? Like I said, you don't have to justify those boundaries to anyone. They are your boundaries, and a no is a no. All right, last tarot card we have for you today is the Three of Cups. Oh, excellent. For a more positive turn here, we got a card telling us to have fun, okay? Blow off some steam. Maybe get social with your friends. This could be telling you to reconnect with your friends or put yourself out there to make new ones if you feel the need. But also this is a card about celebration. So celebrate everything that you have done so far. You clearly have had a lot on your plate. So what have you accomplished so far? Okay, do something fun and reward yourself. Give yourself a pat on the back. So overall, I do see that you need to stop taking on so many stressors in your life and make room just for decompressing and letting loose. All right, so now that we've got those tarot cards up, let's take a look at your oracle cards and see what they have to say. First up, we have your mindful messages, and you have Edge of Greatness. The universe is opening doors for me, bringing opportunities my way. I don't crumble at the edge of my greatness. I take the opportunities that come and walk through the doors with confidence. So this makes me think that specifically when reprioritizing, you need to make room for your passions, okay? Your desires. Don't worry about other people's problems too much. They have their burdens and you have yours. Definitely empathize with others and their burdens, but don't take on their role. I want you to ask yourself, what do you want your life to really look like? What do you really want? And what steps can you take to get from where you are now to where you want to be? All right. Next, we have our two Prism Oracle cards, and your first one is Love. Excellent. Definitely focus on what you love and what you are passionate about. Also, who you love. Not just romantically, but your friends and family as well. Surround yourself with the people who care about you most and make you feel cared about in turn. And of course, don't forget about loving yourself as well. Lots of good messages with this love card. And then your second Prism Oracle card is Peace. Again, going back to don't be afraid of having some downtime. Okay, you need to relax. Now, peace isn't always easy to find, but it's important for you mentally. All right, this card also comes with healing energy. Again, if there's a reason why you've been avoiding downtime, dig deep into that. Maybe there's some healing that needs to be done. Okay, and then your last oracle card for today is your Sacred Traveler Oracle. And you have Gates of Triumph. Success expands in your life. Again, we come back to this idea from the Edge of Greatness card. It's this idea that when you reprioritize and make sure you're focusing on the right things, you're going to see more success in your life because you're making room for it. If you put down the unimportant, busy work that's just causing you stress, you have more room to bring in those opportunities of success. Remember that life is what you make of it, okay? Make sure you're building a life that you actually want. Okay, group 2, I hope you enjoyed your reading. If so, I'd love it if you'd leave me a little like. It only takes a second and I appreciate it greatly. Also, feel free to check out the rest of the readings if you haven't already. I'm sure there's some messages in there for you as well somewhere. All right, until next time. Hello, group 3. If you chose this cute nature-themed teacup with the green tea, then this is your reading. As always, this is a general reading for the collective, so take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Today we're going to be using the Pastel Journey Tarot, which I thought fit well with the theme. We of course have some oracle cards as well after we dive into your tarot. First up for your tarot cards, you have the 9 of Pentacles. So this card is all about your hard work paying off, okay? Acknowledge the hard work that you've been putting in and come up with an appropriate reward for it. Don't break the bank. You know, you don't have to spend a lot of money on it, but don't discount your work either and say, oh, I don't deserve this. For example, one reward I came up with a while ago is, for myself, is to get my hair cut. It's a simple thing, but I really enjoy it. I love the feel of getting my hair cut, so I thought that that would be a nice little treat for myself. Okay? The point is it should be something that you enjoy, but you might not get to do very often. Okay. Next up, we have the Knight of Wands. Got a lot of that passionate energy and bravery. Act on your inspiration and creative impulses. Do you have some ideas floating around that maybe you've been putting aside? Now is the time to actually do something with that. Maybe you feel like you're not a very creative person and that you can't pull it off. But, you know, push yourself to try, because you might be surprised. All right. Your next card is the 8 of Pentacles. Exactly. This is the perfect card to follow the Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands is all about acting on your inspiration, and the 8 of Pentacles is about crafting, taking that inspiration and turning it into a skill through practice. Now, on its own, for self-care, I'd say the recommendation is to follow a daily or weekly routine to have structure in your life. Okay, so it could be both. It could be some for one of you. It could be one for some of you and the other for some others. But the two messages I'm getting with the 8 of Pentacles are definitely to pursue your creative inspirations, but also make sure you have a schedule for it, some structure in your life. Okay, and finally, your last tarot card is the 2 of Pentacles. All right, balance. Now, this card always makes me think of the Smart Life Balance Pie. If you don't know what it is, I highly recommend you look it up. It's a great tool for making sure that you have a balance in your life, especially like a work-life balance or something along those lines. Essentially, what you do is you make a little circle and you divide it into little sections, and each section represents an area of your life. And you fill it in according to how much time and energy you spend on that area of your life. And it's just to help you visualize what areas you're maybe focusing too much time on and what areas you're maybe not spending enough time on. That's what this card always makes me think of. Overall, similar to group 2, I'm seeing that you need to make some time for personal pleasures. Okay? Especially pursuing this creativity, but also acknowledging how hard you've been working thus far. Okay? All right, moving on to your oracle cards. First up, we have your Mindful Messages card, and yours is present. In this present moment, I have nothing to worry about. I take life step by step as I follow my desires and intuition, joyfully overcoming any bumps along the way. When I live like this, I don't have to worry about the future. Okay. Now, recently, I made a video about how to make your future self happy, which I mentioned earlier in one of the other groups. But in that video, I did mention living for the present too much could be a problem, but it's all about balance and moderation. Perhaps you're one of the people who are too focused on the future and not allowing yourself to live in the present at all. So this card is basically just saying, spend some time enjoying the present moment. Okay? Whether you have a challenge that you're trying to overcome, or you just want to stop and smell the roses, basically. Live in the moment and face what's going on right here, right now. Okay, next up we have your 2 Prism Oracle cards, and your first one is anxiety. Interesting. This is interesting because you were just talking about living in the present, and a lot of times the anxiety comes from a fear of what may happen in the future. Even in the guidebook for this card, it talks about living in the moment instead of worrying about what hasn't happened yet or may not even happen at all. Now, there are different sources of anxiety though, so I recommend some research and maybe reach out to someone about what it is specifically that has you anxious. But a couple of things that you can do is you can try writing down a plan. If there's some sort of thing that you're worried about happening, or it has happened already and it's making you anxious, write out a plan to deal with it and then set that aside. Because oftentimes just the act of writing it out can help you help ease your mind and say, okay, we've got a plan. It's not that scary. Another thing you can do is affirmations to try countering any unreasonable fears with more positive possibilities. So if you're worried about, say, what if I don't get this job? Then you can counter that with, what if I do get this job? Something from a more positive approach. Or maybe, what if they don't like me? Okay, what if they do like you? But I do, again, recommend, if you want to do some more research on different ways of dealing with anxiety, and especially I recommend reaching out to a professional, as they are going to have more accurate information, then I do suggest that. All right. So now your second Prism Oracle card is Caution. Now this might seem a little scary, especially when anxiety just came out, but actually I really like this card. It's all about slowing down. Don't rush things. And I love this for you, especially because, actually in group 2, we were talking about how important it is to have some downtime and some peace and relaxation. And this card is just saying, go at your own pace. You don't have to pick up everything. You don't have to rush things. You can just go slow, take your time, It doesn't have to be perfect right now. So yeah, I love this card for you. All right, last card for you, group 3, is your Sacred Traveler Oracle. And your card is Vast Vistas, Expand Your Horizons. All right, now I think this goes along well perfectly with your Knight of Wands and your Eight of Pentacles, okay? Explore that creativity and passion, okay? Even if it's scary, even if you feel like you can't, you're going to broaden your horizons with this. You're going to give yourself time to grow. I love that for you. Okay, group 3, I hope you enjoyed your reading. If so, I'd love it if you'd hit the like button for me. It only takes a second and I really do appreciate it. As well as go ahead and check out the other readings if you haven't already. There may be some more messages in here waiting for you. Group 2 especially, I saw some connections there, so you may want to check that one out. But for now, I'll leave you with, until next time.